So, what I want to do is talk about, again, the subject of success consciousness and how we work with that with Reiki. Some of the tools, the techniques that we have to be able to observe what that means for us and what area of life that you are focused on. So, for some, again, you might be focused on success in your spiritual practices or success for your health or your personal life or your relationships, your finances. You may be really just wanting to see what's at the depth of your heart and the meaning for your whole life, and you might need it for right now. So the Reiki energies work with this naturally because the energy and the frequency of Reiki is higher consciousness. It opens possibilities, it opens opportunities, and it actually reveals to you your gifts and your talents. So, although Reiki definitely brings in healing in the areas where we may be limited from our own success consciousness or have resistance to it or misunderstandings about it, obstacles, energies in the way, injury to it. We may have past life things that show up, and we may have this life things that show up both in our own personal choices, but also our culturally created self. The way we were raised, where we were raised, our age groups, and all of those different considerations. So really what we use is Reiki energy with the topic to begin with, so that you can take this time to even think about it. So we'll do a journey today about what it means for you so that you can go deeper into yourself. And in that journey, we will take time to let go of those obstacles, let go of those restrictions for whatever reason they're there, and then go to the place where you can go within and discover it for yourself. The other thing that will happen is once you instigate the topic, and you just bring it to your awareness, you also will receive insights as you go along and what that means for you. And sometimes those insights come in 2 weeks from now or a month from now. But what's happening is you're actually asking these questions through a higher level of consciousness with Reiki energy. And so it naturally starts to bring your awareness to the subject. That can be something that, like, specific Reiki techniques that you could use, for instance, would be to just ask these questions doing some self-Reiki. So you could do self-Reiki and think in terms of, what does success mean for me? What area of my life am I focused on? What area do I want to be or need to be? You might even be asking, what do I need, like right now, today, this week? And you might also be looking out to February, for instance, or next year even. So the first part is to bring the subject to your awareness. And then you use the different tools that you have, inviting the Reiki energy to help you focus on the answers that you receive and the questions that you have. Because a lot of times we don't really even know the questions we want to ask. So you take the time, like self-Reiki, and as you know, if you've been here a lot, that I talk a lot about Reiki on the fly. So there are many times I go into a depth of these subjects. I go into a journey. These journeys are recorded and put on our podcast and our YouTube channels, and you can go back to them, but you can also just ask yourself the question, either do quick self-Reiki or a longer version of self-Reiki. You can think about it as you go. It's something that you can use in other modalities. So, like if you have a Reiki session from somebody else, or you're getting a massage, or having discussions around these topics, there's all different ways that you can invite Reiki to bring these insights to you. Sometimes it'll start showing up in social media, for instance. How often do these things show up on our phones suddenly? It's like, oh, now you're going to start getting things in TikTok, for instance, on these subjects as you think about it, or perhaps a book that you're reading, or a magazine article, or something that you come across. So as you activate Reiki with these topics, it's going to start bringing the topic to your attention and give you the opportunity to, give it thought, contemplation. And then if it's like an actionable item, then it can put it to, well, then what's next? Do I have actions with it or don't I? Is it a state of being that I just want to be in? And that's the place I'm asking about. It's in my spiritual contemplation of, just a way of being. If it's in my finances, what do I mean by that right now? Or what do I mean by that for 2 years from now or 1 year from now? And so it gives you the opportunity to use Reiki energy to take you into next levels of thought. And what Reiki energy is going to do is also clear your chakras. So we talked about that last week too, of having your whole body have a voice on this subject. So your root chakra has a different set of perceptions and things that your root chakra is engaged with. And your crown chakra has its perceptions and its things it's engaged with, and how are they aligned? So they're listening to each other, like this isn't separate from this. They're working together. All your chakras in between are aligned, and also aligned with the earth and aligned above. So Reiki energy naturally does that. You can also do that for yourself. So for instance, let's say you're doing self-Reiki and you're thinking, about this subject. Maybe you need some healing in areas, but you could do self-Reiki on each of your chakras, just inviting them to be cleared and empowered and aligned, everything working together. Your earth star below your feet, connected with the earth, your soul star above, connected above, and it's all right here. It's unified within you. Everything's operating together. So then it gets to the how-to. Well, I simplify Reiki with, I open my heart and receive. So I truly have learned the more I just go into that receiving. I do like intentions. I do like questions. I do like things to contemplate. I contemplate them this way, or when I'm driving or when I'm walking. I like the subject, so I'll think about that. But just take the time to simply take moments, some breaths, for instance, just taking some deep breaths and listening within. And then I'm a Post-it note taker, so a bunch of you may have different ways that you do that, and have your own lists and things that you write down, and you're organized about that. I've never figured out how to be organized about the things I'm thinking about. One of my best tools was index cards, and I have a Reiki box, and I'll just put index cards in the box and then pick them out. So, oh yeah, that's what I was thinking about back then. But that's how it works for me. So I have a mess of Post-it notes that then I go back through. So everyone to each your own style. So anyway, those are just some of the subjects. I do want to have enough time to go into the journey. And what I mean by a Reiki journey, if you're new to that, is if you've taken any of the holy fire classes, it's similar to a Reiki experience. If you have any shamanic background, it's, going into higher levels of consciousness. In this case, we use Reiki energy to do that. And we use a bridge of light, and we travel into the higher depths of your consciousness in third heaven. So, we're going to do that now. Some of you like to take notes and do automatic writing while we're in the journey. Others of you just stay in a state of listening and hearing yourself. Because that's the other thing, is that when you activate Reiki, it helps you to hear yourself. Out of all the years I've been teaching, everything through all of the skills that we learn, that's always the foundation, is how do you hear yourself? How do you get deeper into you to hear you authentically and to know what you know for you? How you share it in the world, or how those, that outreach and how it's relevant in your daily life, is that you can hear you and it's for you. Okay, so we will keep talking about this subject and deep diving into it more. But today, what I want to do is go into the journey for you to be able to let go of some of the things that are blocking you, any obstacles that you're facing, restrictions, limitations, and let those go. And then go into the revealing within you about where you're at with success consciousness right now, and what topic you most want to think about in this moment.